YouTubers, happy Homebrew Wednesday. So I'm sitting here finishing up a glass of my newest beer, my Renewal 4-grain IPA, which hopefully you just saw or will be seeing soon, my grain to glass video for this beer. So as you realize, over the past few weeks I haven't been posting Homebrew Wednesdays, but I've been posting a couple other type of videos, like my interview with Marshall Schott, the brewlosopher, one of the more well-known beer blogger, homebrew beer bloggers nowadays. So I decided, like many other brew tubers who wait till they have a good amount of material to update you on, I decided to, instead of posting Homebrew Wednesdays along with those other videos, that I'd wait until I had a lot of updates, and then along with a special video like the Grain to Glass, I'll post a Homebrew Wednesday. So what's been going on? Nothing crazy. I haven't brewed since I brewed this beer, but I'll take you around my apartment a little bit after I talk to you for a few minutes. Just show you what's going on, and I'll talk about my next beer a little bit. Last 2 weeks ago, Thursday, I hosted. I'll show some pictures here. I hosted a beer and cheese tasting for some friends. I had, about 10 to 12 friends over, and I bought 4 different cheeses from one cheesemaker called the Cheese Guy. His cheeses have been becoming pretty popular in New York, and I picked 4 beers based on his suggestions, so I contacted him, and it was a really good pairing. 3 out of 4 pairings were really good. One with the Hefeweizen. I did fresh mozzarella, and the cheese was a little too mild for the beer, so next time I'll probably do it with goat cheese or sheep's milk cheese to get that sweet complexity. But overall, it was a good educational opportunity for me to educate some of my friends who might have not explored beer and cheese pairings before, yet alone more than just a few craft beers, to really get into what makes craft beer special and why food pairings are so important as you go along in your journey. So that was cool. Then this past Sunday, at the May Bitter and Esther's beer swap, I brought my Pilsner, and I won my second People's Choice pint glass. So I have 2 Bitter and Esther's pint glasses to use. So that was pretty rewarding, and the best compliment I got that night was that one person tried it, and before I told him it was a Pivo Pils clone, he said that it tastes like Pivo. So that was like, if someone totally neutral, without me telling them the background behind the beer, says it tastes like the beer I cloned, then I know I did a pretty good job. So that was pretty cool. Then, this past Sunday, we had another Brunity event, which where all homebrew clubs come together in the New York City area, because there was a building collapsed in the East Village, which was right next door to 3 iconic New York City beer bars. So as a benefit, we all came together and brought about 25 homebrewers together and raised some money for them to help. Although their building survived, they did get some damage, and we wanted to come together to support them. So I'll post a few pictures here as I talk about it, but I'm going to be posting a separate highlight reel from that day, which was pretty fun. I didn't pour any of my own beers, but Luminaries poured and a bunch of other local clubs poured, and it was a lot of fun. So coming up, so for my what's coming up next, let's take you off my tripod. I'll show you around a little bit. So first of all, in my bathtub, I have some bottles soaking, as you see some labels falling off, because my next beer I'm going to be bottling, so I used the OxyClean to get the labels off, and I'm going to have a lot of bottles to do that with, because I don't bottle so much, so I have to prep the bottles. For my next beer, it's going to be a Saison, and I'm going to be using the Sour Farmhouse Ale strain from the East Bay, and it has lactobacillus and Saison yeast in it, so it's going to be a pretty tart beer, and I'm going to need to age it for 2 to 3 months to really develop that tartness. So So I'm going to bottle it and not keg it. So here in my Keezer, I actually have 3 beers on tap. So as you see, I have my Lion's Roar Pilsner and the Porter still, and I'm actually getting for this tap a Founder's Porter tap handle that I got off eBay recently. So when it comes in, I'll show you guys that. But I'm serving my IPA right now off a picnic tap, and so that I could have 3 beers on tap while I still have some CO2 in my tank, because the IPA was the 4th 5-gallon keg that I carved off that tank. As you see here, I have a bunch of different hop varieties, all from Yakima Valley Hops, of course, one of the sponsors of the Brewed Palette. So usually what happens when I order hops from them, I send Jeff, one of the founders or one of the owners of the company, a list, and tell him which beers I'm using it in. And then I give him a call and we talk it over. So just in case he wants to send me something else in addition to try out, then he kind of knows where I'm going in terms of what my direction of my beers. So actually 2 varieties that I want to do a shout out to Puka NC, because I know he's a good big Star Trek and Star Wars fan. So two of my friends who are actually employees at Bitter and Esther's brewed a double IPA called Millennium Falcon, and it was awesome. So since I've never brewed with Falconer's Flight hops before, which is actually a blend, I got 4 ounces of that to use in that beer. I'll have to just calculate IBUs and see if I'm going to make it like a double IPA or just a regular IPA, because this one is 10.4% alpha acid, and then the Millennium hops are 13. So my friend Bobby, who's one of the brewers, said that they use the Millennium mainly for bittering and a little bit for flavor, but they really relied on the Falconer's Flight hops for the flavor and aroma. So what I'm going to do is, since I only have 4 ounces of the Falconer's Flight, is there's a lot of rumors about which hops are part of the blend. So, and one of them being Sriracha Ace, which is my favorite Saison hop, or favorite high alpha Saison hop, I should say. So what I might do to put my own twist on the recipe is to use the Falconer's Flight, but to enhance the Falconer's Flight with maybe 1 or 2 of the varieties that are rumored to be in it. Now, in terms of other hops, because I did add on a couple varieties that I didn't have on my list. The first ones I'll have on my list is I got some fresh 2014 Hallertau Middle Fruit. I'm going to be brewing a hef soon, and I want to use up what I have and then have fresh 2014 in my freezer for future Belgian and German brews. And then over here we have a newer variety called Mandarina Bavaria, which is 7.3%, which is pretty high. So I decided to only get 2 ounces, because with my hef I'm thinking of brewing a smaller batch, do alongside the big batch, and hopping it with this hop instead, and making a more citrusy Hefeweizen to bottle instead of keg, of like 2 or 3 gallons, or more if I have fermenters open. Then I got 4 ounces of Urilo, because I've been hearing really good stuff about it. 4 ounces of Caliente hops, again, because I've heard a lot of good things about it. And then for dry hopping, my 4-grain IPA, my Renewal IPA, because I didn't like the flavor from the Equinox, because for me it gives me a lot of green pepper, I decided to get more Nuggetzilla and more Azaka, and then I'll pick a 3rd variety to go with them instead of the Equinox, which I didn't order more of, which is why he was able to throw in some other new hop varieties in place of the 4 ounces of Equinox originally on my list. So he gave me 2 ounces of Fantasia hops, which I've heard are good for maltier beers, because they're only 5.1%, and also TNT pellets, which I don't know much about, so I'll have to look up on the website and post information in this video. But I just wanted to not only just show you which hops I got, but explain to you kind of, you know, why I picked these varieties over some of the other newer ones or more well-established ones. Alright? Cheers. So that's what's going on around my apartment. And luckily also, actually, I have a lot of extra beer from the beer and cheese tasting because I kind of overbought. So I have some nice Bell's Two-Hearted IPA, some Founders Porter, some Brooklyn Sriracha Ace Saison, and the Wine Stefan Hefeweizen to drink, you know, over the next 2 weeks and enjoy without having to go out and buy too much beer. So that's all my updates for now. I hope I didn't speak too fast. I just didn't want to make this video too long. But yeah, so I hope you have a great Homebrew Wednesday. You're brewing some great beers, you know, from the spring going into the summer months, especially here in the US. And cheers, and I'll see you soon. Bye.